Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So I may do a live stream that covers more than this clip, because obviously on this show the segment for each person is longer than what these clips show. However, this was a key theme, and I just want to kind of point out how a lot of times these women's standards they really don't make any sense. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share it, and then we'll talk about it.
Brian.
Hey, Brian. I love the way you speak, but for me, it was the pants. I don't like the pants too tight. I'm kind of ghetto too, so I like them a little loose, and that was just it for me.
Okay. How old are you?
34.
34?
Mm-hmm.
How many kids you got?
I got 3.
You got 3?
Yep.
How many baby daddies?
I have 3.
You got 3 baby daddies. Okay.
I should have said 0, because it's just me.
You gonna lie to the public?
No, I have 3, but it's just me. I'm a single parent.
Okay.
There's no man in my life.
Okay. No man in your life?
Nope.
Why is the
My
reason
boys.
for there no man in your life?
Well, my first child, his father passed away, and the other 2 are nowhere to be found. So what can you do?
They do you like that? What's wrong with them?
Something. Only God knows.
Or is there something wrong with you?
Possibly, but I think I'm just fine.
I think you're just fine as well.
Thank you.
Right. But to say that a 41-year-old man is disqualified because of his pants,
You're 41?
I'll be 41 in September.
Okay, because I was like, I thought you said 40.
I'll be 41 in September. That's coming up.
I like it. It's okay for you. It's not my style. You know, with everything going on, I like the pants to be a little baggy. That's all.
Where you from, love?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay. How long you been out here?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Let's go on over here. Balloon for Brian.
Okay. And so the exchanges between himself and some of the other ladies went in a similar fashion. And so this isn't about them rejecting him, or because many of those women just popped their balloons. I think all of them ended up popping a balloon. And so, if I'm not mistaken, because I didn't watch all the way through his segment, but I know the vast majority, if not all, of those ladies ended up popping their balloon with him. And so a lot of women, of course, took exception to his tone or what have you. I don't think that his tone was combative. I think that he was asking questions, accountability questions that in a speed date type of situation, you need to go ahead and ask them up front. So this isn't like an organic meeting of people, where in an organic setting, you would not ask those questions right away and not upon first speaking, right? It may come up soon, but not in the first interaction. In this particular situation, this is more of a set type thing where you're asking the questions because they get to ask whatever questions they want to ask as well. So this is not just the men get to badger the women. The women are capable of asking whatever other questions they want to ask. The host does not necessarily, to my knowledge, and from what I've seen, she doesn't regulate. I think she tries not to let it get too out of hand, but she's not like regulating the questions that people ask one another. And so the key takeaway here for me was a couple of things. When he knew to ask how many children each lady had. He didn't assume that they didn't have children. And I want people to absorb that for a moment. When you're speaking to a room full of Black women, and I would say Black women in their 30s, but it's the ones in their 20s are in the same boat. So younger doesn't necessarily mean anything in this particular situation. When you know that you've gotten into a group of Black women, the majority of those women likely have a child or children. Along with that, those women who have children are more likely to not be married to the father and have never been married at all to anyone. So he knew to ask how many children, not do you have children? He asked how many children. And then he asked how many baby daddies? How many baby daddies? And the scary part about that is that they all had different answers for that. So it wasn't like he was asking those questions and the answers told us that the questions were unwarranted, meaning that it wasn't like he was asking how many kids and most of the women say, I don't have any children. Or when he asks how many baby daddies, is not, well, one, I had all my children by one guy. We were in a relationship or we were married or whatever, I have 2 children and, by that same guy. That the answers are multiple children and multiple fathers for those children. I want people to absorb that because that's the norm for Black women. Maybe you can get away with that when they're real young, in early 20s. But once they are crossed over to 30, it's rare to be in a group of Black women and have the majority of them say, if they've never been married, that they don't have children either. Now, the exchanges were calm. They were amicable. The other thing to point out is that she has 3 baby dads and 3 children. And she disqualified this gentleman here for his pants. What were the qualifiers for the 3 men that you had a child with? Because, okay, we'll say the 2 men. We'll say the first man that passed away, maybe you was in love with him, whatever. We don't know the whole situation of that. But let's just, in the interest of the benefit of the doubt, let's take the other 2. What were they qualifiers? Why were they qualified for you to have children by them without a commitment from them? See, women often talk about, oh, well, the marriage doesn't solidify anything. That doesn't guarantee anything. Nobody said that it was a guarantee, but what it shows is an attempt to make good decisions about family building, who you're going to have children by, and it demonstrates at least the attempt in being intentional about those things. Never having been married and having multiple children with multiple fathers indicates that you are not very careful. You don't vet men very well, and you will bring a child into the world for a man that didn't think enough of you to commit to you. It's bad womb management. Now, again, like I've said before, any person has the right to decline any other person. Nobody owes anybody else a relationship or to be interested in them. Everybody, men and women, have the right to decline people and turn people down. That's not the point. The point is what Black women will turn a man down for. At minimum, have a legit reason, because she actually seemed like she liked that guy, and she said it. She's like, I like the way you speak, and I like the way that you present yourself. So she liked him. Pants, when he could take the pants off. If you were to get into a relationship with him and things of that nature, you might be able to bring that up at some point. I say, babe, I don't know, straight legs. I don't know. But to reject someone right off rip that you otherwise like, and that's the thing that gets me. It's not like these women are rejecting these men because overall they just don't like these men. They're rejecting the men that they actually like. And this is the part that gets me. They're rejecting the men that they actually like for superficial reasons. So they like the internal man. She liked his presentation. She liked, how he looked or whatever, how he spoke. But which would indicate his internal value, who he is, right? He's presenting who he is. That indicates who you are, how you speak, how you present, how you show up. But then the outward thing, the pants, it just seemed a little silly to me. And then he asked, well, how old are you? You're 34, still vetting men off of a teenager's vetting process, which would explain where 3 baby daddies come from. Because what's your vetting process? What are you basing it on? The pants mean what to you? Like, at least tell me what his pants, his style of dress indicates to you. Right? Does it indicate immaturity? Does it indicate that he's trying to be a thug and he's not a thug? Like, what does it say to nothing? Right? There was no deeper like place she was coming from with that. And so these were the things that I kind of took away from that. And last but not least, she didn't have any accountability. When he asked, is there something wrong with them or is there something wrong with you? She said, maybe, but I think I'm fine though. Isn't that the line for every woman? All the women think that they're okay. All the women think that they're just fine. That there's nothing wrong with them, that they nothing that they need to modify. Not even so much as their vetting process. Not even so much as, okay, let me change my perspective on how I'm vetting these men. Because physical attraction is one thing. You're attracted to what you're attracted to, right? But at the same time, let's also apply critical thinking and let's also apply a reputable vetting system as well. And see if a man measures up to that. The reason that they can't do that is because they don't have any set morals and values of their own. So there is no solid judgment. There is no measuring stick that's worth anything. They measuring stick is in a cootie cat, whether or not the cat jumped. Sweetheart, that's what got you 3 babies and 3 baby daddies. Because your cat jumped with the men. But let you tell it they are inactive. Let's just say that's true. Shouldn't that ring a bell for you and say, oh, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't judge men based solely upon whether or not I'm physically attracted to them. Maybe I should, I don't know, reevaluate, the other things that matter in a relationship. And of course, comments, nobody's taking accountability. This one, who told y'all women who have kids can't have standards of like who they want? Y'all have to stop trying to demonize mothers or tell them how to live, but it's okay for a ninja with 2 baby mamas looking for a woman with no kids. That right there. And then the second one, comment, 3 kids by 3 different men, but pants is where you draw the line. Right. That's the deal breaker. The pants. You've got 3 men. One is passed away. The other ones, according to you, are deadbeats. And the pants, it was the pants that sent you. To address the first comment, nobody's demonizing motherhood. What's being questioned and brought to light, and it's just unflattering, is how many times a lot of these women will have children and they'll keep doing the same thing, and they'll have multiple children by multiple men. That's the key. Multiple children by multiple men is the key. That's the key problem. Because if you were married and had all 3 of your kids by your husband, that's a whole different ball game. That's a whole, even if you're not a widow and you got divorced from your husband, at minimum, it was like, well, all 3 of them do belong to him. And I had them in wedlock, so I wasn't running around just popping out babies for every dude that I dated. There is a difference, and men actually see that differently. They don't put women in the same reckless category. Now, there may be other factors. The fact that you even got kids at all is a deterrent for most men. But at least if you didn't have them in such a reckless way, the man can say, okay, well, she's probably not this, world-class thought, though. Yeah, I mean, she was a married woman. And I mean, if you can't have a child in a marriage, when can you have it? You know what I mean? So I just wanted to point that out. That we may do a show on this. I'm leaning heavily towards it, but jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, Sister Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.